Springbok bounces back. We're going to be bringing this broadcast to you live, and it's great to be in your company at this prestigious ground. It is, of course, one of England's most prestigious football grounds, but today it is rugby that takes centre stage with that Pool B clash. Here in Birmingham, they only host 2 Rugby World Cup matches, and the South Africa-Samoa clash is the first of 2. The next one will be Australia up against Uruguay. But there's lots to speak about when it comes to the Springboks. Here in England, the bookies are saying they favour the Springboks to beat Samoa, who are ranked 4 places on the world rankings below the Springboks, and to beat them by 17 points. But they're going to have to do the duty on the field. We're going to be chatting to my colleague Matt Messina, who is also here, but that'll be coming a little bit later. First up, let's take a look at some of the latest news from the Rugby World Cup. Here in England, there is another match that most people are speaking about, that all-important derby, that UK derby between Wales and England. Warren Gatland of Wales saying that they are out to smash not just Sam Burgess, who was a contentious decision to include in the English squad, but they're out to smash the entire English squad. The world champions, the latest from there at a team event. Their captain, Richie McCaw, said that the team need to keep on improving throughout the tournament if they are to successfully defend their world title. And finally, in the Wallabies camp for their upcoming clash, there's been a number of changes to the squad. However, it is Dean Mum, who became a dad over the last 3 days for a second time, who will captain the Wallabies team. There was one clash last night that took place at the Rugby World Cup. It was Argentina getting one step closer to the quarterfinals as they beat Georgia 54-9. Of course, all the attention is going to be on what's happening in the Springbok camp. Our TCC, Simon Burke, is our camp correspondent. He brings us the latest from the Springbok camp and what our captain, John de Villiers, had to say at the captain's run yesterday. The captain's run took place here at Villa Park. We also had the Samoan captain's run before that of the South Africans. And we're going to be chatting about that with Matt Messina in just a short while. But first, let's get the latest from the Springbok camp with Simon Burke.
Well, if you're looking for pressure or tension, you won't find any of that here at Villa Park, where the Springboks wrapped up preparations ahead of their match against Samoa. They all seem to be in very good spirits.
Tactically, we need to be better, and we need to play smarter. So still get excited when you have the ball and attack and see the space. Identify the space, get the ball into the space in whichever way you can. Whether that's keeping it at hand or whether it's kicking it into space. We just want to play the game. I think we like to play the game, and we want to play clean within the rules. You play it hard, and it will be physical. That I can guarantee you. From both sides, it will be very physical. But hopefully we can stay within the limits of the game and just make it a good spectacle for the people watching and also for the guys playing it as well. We know how important that this game is for our country. The game of rugby, and we are a very proud nation, and what saddens you in a way as well is to see how a loss like this can sort of also break the country apart, and I think that's a responsibility that we have is to rectify that. So rugby is a game. In South Africa, it has done so much more than just the game, and that responsibility we carry with us every single time that we take to the field, and we disappointed a lot of people last week. So it's an opportunity that we get again tomorrow, against a fierce rival, a very determined team as well, and a very physical team, and we need to stand up because we put ourselves in this position, and we need to get ourselves out of this position.
The Springboks are all too aware that they'll be in for a titanic struggle against Samoa. They're also fighting for their tournament lives. I'm Simon Burke, bringing you the latest from the Springbok camp.
It is the ABSO red bus partner of Barclays that is parked outside of Villa Park, and that is where we are broadcasting live this morning. Mac Messina now joins me. Okay, so all attention is going to be here. We saw the ground, we saw the pitch in the middle of the week. It is looking good, but this Springboks, I mean, just how much work did the psychological coach have to do with the team this past week?
Well, I think first things first, I think the Boks are under so much pressure. You know, the much pressure that they do have is just unbelievable. Here, at home, everywhere, all around the country, and just all that stuff. But I think the main thing that it needs to be done from the coaching point of view, it's just that turnaround that they'll probably have to do for all these days to make sure that come Saturday, come later today, they know exactly what needs to be done.
So the bookies favour the Springboks to win by 17 points here in England, and we know that there are many bookies around, so we've seen what the bookies have to say. I mean, what do you make of today's match, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, it is going to be like that. I think the Boks, just the main fact that a lot of people still believe in them, they've got a good brand. And then with those 8 changes that took place, you know, with the spine of rugby, I mean, that's a hooker that was changed with 9 and 10, which is going to be another spine, and the new fullback. So when you talk about rugby, we talk about the spine just going all the way down, which I really thought that it might be a very good idea, because this is where those players, you know, those players that will really just try and see if they can make their team work. It is going to be tough. I don't think that it's going to be an easy one, because I don't think that Samoa here as well, you know, just to come in and say, okay, fine, come beat us. So they're here to fight. So it's going to be very physical, hard contact. But, you know, I know a lot of people, we are talking about the physical, about the game and all that stuff, but I would really just like to see or to hear us talking about the tactical play. How do we need to really go out there and make it happen, instead of just talking about the game is going to be physical, this game is going to be physical? There has to be something special that we'll need to do in order for us to win the game.
Well, it seems as if that very special key the coach has actually laid squarely on the shoulders of young Handré Pollard. He said to him, whether we win or not will solely be on what you do in that match. I mean, that's massive pressure. It
is. I mean, this is an under 21 years player. He's still a baby. I think he hasn't had less than probably like 20 tests on him, and all of a sudden he needs to come in here in the World Cup and make sure that he just makes it happen. But overall, we will be depending on the senior players that he has backed all the way, you know, the Victors, the John de Villas and all those guys. Those are the players that will need to function in all cylinders, because if they're not, we might find ourselves in big trouble again.
All right, well, we certainly hope that it won't be the case against Samoa. All will be revealed later on today when South Africa take on Samoa right here at Villa Park. Thank you very much to Mac Messina. Now, Mac and I have been out and about in this very interesting place. You know, Birmingham has more canals than Venice. This is a really very, very interesting city, and their motto for the city is forward, because they like to be at the forefront of diversity, of change, of bringing new ideas. Now, we went into their idea and innovation hub. This is a place where a number of independent businesses actually come, and you find everyone there, from artists to skateboarders to little jewelry shops. It's called the Custard Factory, purely because many years ago they actually used to make custard on the site, but now it's transformed and it really is a real treat. We met up with a graffiti artist there. Take a look at this.
In Birmingham, like the Custard Factory is fantastic because it's full of independent businesses. So there's a couple of large companies, but most of the time it's from you know, like micro businesses and artist studios up to like large companies like ASOS and other companies like that. Anyone can do graffiti art, doesn't matter how old or how young. With the spray paint, if you want to learn spray painting, you have to be over 10 years old, but the sky's the limit.
The Green Man by Toyin Adams. I am the Green Man, son, lover and guardian of the Earth Goddess.
So it's all about how you want to come across. So if you want to come across in a certain way, like just do it. Let's do this. So we get green at the bottom, and these are paint pens called Posca pens. So inside there's lots of water-based paint. So they're child safe and they're really fast to use. Habashwe. It's just like a shadow I'm putting on. Just imagine that there's light coming from this corner and it's casting a shadow. With graffiti art, you've just got to be quick. That's the whole. It's full of passion, nice and fast. Like there's a famous graffiti artist who said that it's like Japanese, Chinese food. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, you've overdone it. You might as well throw it away.
Well, we have to do it all. Workshops.
Do this. Habashwe. Let's do this.
We come to you live from Villa Park in Birmingham, where the Absa Red Basapana of Barclays is parked. And this is where all the attention is going to be later for the Pool B clash, South Africa up against Samoa. One of the major rugby clubs here in this part of England, in the Midlands, is the Worcester Warriors. They made their way back into the Aviva Premiership this past season, and they're going to be beginning their campaign in just about 3 weeks' time when the Aviva Premiership all kicks off. Joining me now is their CEO, Jim O'Toole. Very good. Thank you very much for waking up so early. Welcome to Morning Live.
Real pleasure to be with you and your viewers today. Thank you for having us.
You've actually been at the club only since February.
Yes, I joined in February as Chief Executive. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. In that time, we've had the very exciting promotion playoff, which we won with the last kick of the game. And of course, we've had a mad summer of preparation for the launch of the new Aviva Premiership season.
And I know that it's been quite a long off season because of the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, incredibly long. Now, for us, actually, it's been advantageous because we were slightly behind the curve in terms of player recruitment because we didn't know which league we were going to be playing in until the end of May. So we brought in 12 new players, many of whom were in place already, but we just were able to top up the resources with some additional signings.
You guys have also got a major South African connection. You've got 5 South Africans playing for you. Vaylen Kirtley came from Montpellier. He's now playing for you guys. And your captain's also a South African, GJ van Velze.
Indeed, we actually got a very strong connection with South Africa. In addition to the players you just named, we also have Nick Schonert, Dean Hammond, and a very promising young man called Gareth Milasinovic, of whom we have very high hopes. Big lad, very athletic, and he's adding to our South African family.
Why do you like the South African players and what do they bring to the Worcester Warriors?
I think they bring athleticism, size. There's some big lads come out of South Africa, and it's a rugby culture, and it's an overseas market in which it's easy to fish for talent because there's plenty of it.
The Rugby World Cup is obviously for England and for the UK. There is a hope that it can, in the national consciousness, it can just take one step closer to football, because what we've noticed coming from South Africa, where soccer and rugby kind of are on the same footing, here rugby plays second fiddle to football. You come from a commercial background. Just how much of an impact will the Rugby World Cup make on changing that around and just highlighting just what a great game rugby is?
Well, I think we've seen that over the first week or so of this Rugby World Cup. There have been many thousands of people who've been attracted to the show rather than the sport because they don't understand rugby. And the results that we're seeing already are phenomenal. The number of people who have never been to games or haven't been regularly, who have started buying tickets from us and who've started expressing an interest to actually engage with the sport is noticeable already. And in terms of the longer term impact, I think the good thing this time around compared to 1999 and 1991 is that the RFU have been absolutely prepared for it. There's been a legacy plan, and it'll be a real legacy. We've seen the impact of it already.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure many people from England are looking forward to actually reaping the benefits of that. We were in rugby, and they really did highlight the kind of heritage that they have, even though they aren't hosting any games. So it's been wonderful to see. Thank you very much. That's Jim O'Toole, who is the CEO of the Worcester Warriors, coming out nice and early for us. Thank you so much for your time. They've got 5 South Africans in their squad, and as he said, South Africa is just a great place to come and fish for rugby talent. We would like you to leave some of them, though, for us, please. All right, it's time now to take a look at what Mac and I were up to a little bit earlier on this week as we came to look at Villa Park. We checked out the grass. It was all looking good, but then we also had to do some shopping.
That's it, man. How do you?
There you go, mate.
No, Gosagana, man. It's for the dog. Yes.
Yes, there's only one thing left to say. Niet lalagaat, Bokke.
Lekker. Mooi spel, boykies, hè?
What time's our match? What time's our match? All right, so I've come now to the other side of our Absa Red Bus, a partner of Barclays. You can see he's got so much character, and he really has been a hit at all of the places that we've been. We've already been to Brighton, London, to Rugby, and now we're in Birmingham. We're going to leave Villa Park after this broadcast, and we're going to be making our way to the Fan Park, which is in East Side Park, and it really was a hub of excitement, and that is where we're going to be bringing you the live broadcast of today's match, South Africa up against Samoa. You'll be able to catch that live on SABC 2. Until then, goodbye.